To recap the decision, a state appeals court ruled the city's plan to finance the $520 million convention center expansion by raising the hotel room tax violates the law that requires two-thirds voter approval for a new tax. Here with further details are my guest, attorney Corey Briggs, who filed the suit against the plan, and Stephen Johnson, VP of Public Affairs for the San Diego Convention Center. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, Corey, city officials originally said the tax was actually a fee for revenue generation. Why did the court disagree with this?
Well, the city called it a special tax in their authorizations. The reason the Court of Appeal disagreed is because under Propositions 13 and 218, taxes have to be approved by the electorate, and the electorate under the Constitution means flesh and blood voters like you and me.
And Stephen, remind us of what the expansion would have looked like or might look like, and why you think it's necessary.
Sure. The expansion would add an additional 220,000 square feet of exhibit space to the 530 that are already there, making it the largest contiguous exhibit hall on the West Coast. About 100,000 square feet of additional meeting space and an 80,000 square foot ballroom, topped by a 5-acre rooftop park with an outdoor amphitheater.
And again, why do you think it's necessary?
Our clients have told us it's necessary. Besides Comic-Con, which often gets mentioned, we have clients such as Biocom and National Association of Realtors and others that have outgrown or are going to outgrow the building as it currently is. So we're trying to accommodate the growth of some of the groups that want to return to San Diego, big lucrative business, including Comic-Con, but also be able to attract additional business from groups that have never been able to fit in the current building, as well as hold two groups in there simultaneously.
The city is still looking into whether or not to appeal the decision, is my understanding. If this ruling stands, what does it mean for the expansion? Does it mean it goes back to square one? Do you start all over?
No, we don't go back to square one. We've done a lot of due diligence and work on this project since 2008, 2009, all the way up to now. I think what we need to do is try to revisit how we can finance the plan, and if we can't finance the current plan, what are the next steps from that?
Do you think that a Charger Stadium proposal might be part of that consideration?
I think we're all waiting to see what the Chargers are going to propose.
And Corey, you're also challenging other aspects of this project in particular. Are you opposed to the expansion altogether, and if so, why?
A general expansion, no. The client's concerns are price, financing mechanism, and location. We've now dealt with the financing mechanism. The problem with putting it on the waterfront is that the space where they're going to build it was promised to be dedicated as a park in perpetuity. What we think is that they need to look at an alternative site, and that's why we sued over the Coastal Commission's decision placing it there.
And that said, Stephen, does that mean you're more concerned about further legal setbacks?
Well, the biggest setback is the financing. And so I think right now we passed Coastal Commission unanimously, and I think that's a solid decision that will stand. I think what we need to do now is revisit the financing.
And Corey, why do you think this issue, we're talking about the convention center, I think most people could probably agree that Stephen makes a good argument as to why it might be expanded, but why do you think public projects and the funding and how they're funded is important to San Diegans?
Well, this is a really good example. You had a group of people approving a tax, namely the hoteliers, who stood only to benefit. They bear no burdens whatsoever from the additional cost of a tourist coming to San Diego. In our society, the Constitution says that when you have a funding mechanism like that, it's called a tax, that everybody has to vote on it. In this case, the problem of coming up with a way of paying for the expansion was worse than the cure, or the cure was worse than the problem, because the cure is disenfranchising all of us in our right to vote.
And Stephen, what do you think what's next? Let's say going to voters, do you think that's likely? Like, what are the next steps?
The next steps sit with the mayor and the city council as it relates to whether or not they want to take the appeal to the Supreme Court, or whether they want to sit back and talk to the hospitality industry about other ways to proceed on this expansion. That decision sits with them.
Will the convention center be taking new ideas in order to come up with perhaps a plan B?
I think we're open to all sorts of ideas as we have been through this whole process.
All right. Attorney Corey Briggs and Convention Center Stephen Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you.